All right, so I'm going to assume that you all know that ultra-processed foods, highly processed foods, junk food, you name it, is all bad for you. So when I talk about the foods that cause your cells to malfunction, that's a given that it's the ultra-processed foods, the junk food, the pizza, the burgers, and all of their variations, right? So there's like crazy amounts of how you can create a pizza. How can you make a pizza even more inflammatory? How can you make a burger even more inflammatory? You see it on all the billboards. So when I talk about the foods that cause cellular malfunction, it can be a little bit confusing and overwhelming because I have so many clients who tell me, but then I eat so healthy. I don't eat junk food. I stopped eating out completely. I don't eat burgers. I don't eat pizza. I don't go to junk food places. I don't eat any of that stuff. I only eat at home. But I still have fibroids. I'm still exhausted. I still get migraines. My periods are very painful. I have a thyroid condition. All of these things, and they think they're eating healthy. So I'm going to do this video on two parts. Today's going to be the short part. I'm just going to list the foods that most people don't associate as being inflammatory or problematic. And then tomorrow, I'm going to give you a longer explanation as to why these foods can be problematic and then how these foods work a little bit differently for every person, because it's not exactly the same formula for everybody within the framework of inflammatory foods and non-inflammatory foods. So really, really, really important for you to keep an open mind here, because so much of what we grew up with, eating in our childhoods, eating throughout our lives, what our parents have always been eating, are going to be on this list of problematic foods. Tomorrow's going to be the longer explanation as to why, but today I just want to list them for you. And don't shoot the messenger, but here is that list. The main list of inflammatory foods to remove if you have a hormonal condition, so any of the hormonal imbalances, or if you have a chronic condition that you maybe don't associate with a hormonal imbalance. So if you have anything like PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids, heavy periods, painful periods, acne, eczema, autoimmune, all the thyroid issues, fibromyalgia, MS, high blood pressure, heart disease, all those things I always list. These are the foods that we need to remove in order to allow the body, give the body space to start to rebalance, allow your cells space to balance themselves, to heal, to regenerate, so they can start to function properly again. Remember, I'm assuming that you understand about ultra-processed foods. I'm not going to put them on this list. If you are curious about why ultra-processed foods are so damaging to your health and why they're causing an incredible epidemic of chronic illness, message me and I can tell you. But by this point in our evolution as humans, you must have come to the realization that junk food is not food. It's just junk. So here's the list. Believe it or not, alcohol is on this list because for some reason people don't seem, forget the religious issues, right? But for some reason people seem to think that alcohol is okay, that alcohol, if enjoyed in moderation, a drink or two here, again, because most people do it, then it's not harmful. Alcohol is a poison, pure and simple. There is no amount that is okay to consume. So that is the number one common food drink on the list. The next one is caffeine, my favorite. I will do a separate video on caffeine because unlike alcohol, unlike other drugs, we see no reason to remove caffeine. It's not a poison, technically. It's not actually a drug, even though it behaves as a drug on the body. But the way that caffeine can alter your hormones and alter and affect the way that your cells function is huge. So that's definitely on the list. The third on the list is sugar. And I'm not talking about natural sugar from fruits or natural sugar from honey. I'm talking about processed sugar and all fake sugar substitutes, right? huge, huge inflammatory food. The next one that throws everybody off is wheat, especially since everybody thinks that if you're consuming whole wheat, then you're doing something really great for your body. If you're consuming sourdough, then this is fine. You're not harming your body, as long as we stay away from the white bread, all the white stuff. So wheat is a huge one. The other one that really throws people off is dairy. And that's because of our belief that we need calcium. And yes, 100% we need calcium, but we don't need to get it from dairy. There are other sources of calcium. You cannot give up calcium because you need that, but you can 100% remove dairy because that's inflammatory. The next ones on here, eggs and red meat. Also huge controversy about those because those are foods that we've evolved eating. You know, human beings for hundreds of thousands of years have eaten eggs and red meat, more than dairy, believe it or not. But in this modern day age of modern day agriculture and the way that these animals are farmed, the way that we get the eggs, this on top of consuming all the ultra processed foods and all the other foods on this list has made these foods also problematic. Finally, the last three are corn, processed seed oils, so corn oil, sunflower oil, all of these so-called vegetable oils that are not actually vegetables, they're seeds, and soy. These are all quite problematic for healing as well. So even if you've removed all the ultra processed foods that are obviously bad for you, but you're still consuming any of these foods on a regular basis, it will be very challenging for you to reverse and heal a chronic condition. Now, as I will tell you in tomorrow's video, it's not about removing these foods forever. And it's not about never having these foods ever again in your life. It's about removing them so that give your body a chance. We're going to detoxify the body completely, reset the body to zero completely, give it the time and space to do that. And then within a framework of non-inflammatory foods, everybody will be able to find their own blueprint of what can keep them symptom-free. So maybe you'll be able to bring in red meat again, and you discover that it works perfectly for you. You can have a steak every single day. Once you've cleared your body, right? Once you have a clean slate, you can have red meat every single day and it doesn't trigger headaches or migraines or indigestion or constipation or a night sweat that night. And long-term, your period remains pain-free, regular, not heavy. Some of you will discover that no, if you bring in a steak every single day, gradually over time, your period reverts back to being painful. It raises your estrogen levels again. You have all the PMS symptoms. So maybe you have to figure out a different ratio for yourself. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. So join me tomorrow. I'll talk in more detail about how this works on an individual basis. Think about it for now. And as I told you, the registration is open for the 21-day hormone detox, where we do remove all of these foods. I show you exactly how to remove these foods and what to eat instead so that you can heal your body, and then how to slowly bring these foods back in to see if they work for you or not. We start September 15th. Message me if you want to learn how to use food as medicine to finally heal yourself, get off your medications if you want to, prevent disease for sure. And if you're curious at all, or if you're not sure, also message me. We'll have a conversation and we'll take it from there. See you tomorrow.